This is Pat Soundbites Unplugged, the podcast where all the artists go to tell it as it is. Careers, music, tours, and more. And here's your host, the man that refuses to eat squid, Pat Calamari.
Hey, happy Friday, happy TGIF, February 21st, 2020. I am Pat Calamari, the host of Pat Soundbites Unplugged. Do I sound excited? Do I sound with a lot of enthusiasm, I should say? You know, it just, every time I talk to one of these artists, man, it just gets me really super excited. And today was no exception. Before I get to that, hey, don't forget, you can find me, Pat Soundbites, on Instagram, Pat Soundbites on Twitter, Pat Soundbites Unplugged on Facebook, Patrick Calamari on Facebook. Please continue to support. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is going great. The downloads are going super. Folks from all over the world, I enjoy doing what I do, so please don't hesitate to share and continue to love and support. I'm also on YouTube as well. Pat Soundbites Unplugged on YouTube. So, today, Friday, oh my goodness. Glad to be talking to a guy I've talked to a few times and had a pleasure to meet in one of my favorite bands. I'm talking Styx here, and I'm talking the wonderful super guy, Mr. Ricky Phillips. Ricky's incredible songwriter, producer, and Styx backing vocalist, bass guitarist, and a member of the band, well, since 2003, 17 years. Just a great guy. Styx coming back in the New York tri-state area, March 15th at the Beacon Theater, March 27th at Resorts World Catskills Casino, more locally here in Monticello, New York. Well, I might as well read the list. March 20th in Atlantic City, March 21st in Foxwoods, and March 28th in Waterloo, up in the Finger Lakes region in Seneca County. You can get all the dates at StyxWorld.com. Oh my goodness, what a great guy. Talked about being a part of Styx, talked about songs of Styx, talked about the mission, no secret about a new album coming out. Tommy just shared that a week ago or so on social media, on a podcast, him, Lawrence, and Will, trying to finish things up down in a recording studio in Nashville, but logistically, it's hard. Styx is down in Louisiana tonight. Ricky just talking to me as soon as he got off the tour bus and got his room and got settled down a bit. Had a few more an interview at least right after me. And then they're off, and then they start out again on March 13th. So busy road warriors, as I call them. Styx is always on the road, and I applaud them for the mission, and I can't wait. Very excited. Can't wait for the new album. New music. Keeping new music alive on the radio airwaves, and maybe getting Styx to roll the dice for the 5 of a kind dice challenge. If they roll a 5 of a kind total in 3 rolls, I play the entire new album on my radio show, which I've done with many, many bands and artists. We talk about his album, Ronnie Montrose, I can't say tribute album, it's just a great album that Ronnie was part of, and sadly he passed. And Ricky and Eric Singer, drummer of Kiss, got permission from Ronnie's wife and completed it and released it and got it out in 2017. And we talk about that and the superstars that collaborated on that album. So please check that out, 10 by 10. And keep supporting Ricky Phillips and his great band of Styx and catch them on tour. Can't wait to see him in a couple of weeks. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Hug your kids, hug your family, tell your friends, whoever, that you love them. Life is just way too short. As I always say, live, love, and laugh a lot. Life is way too short. enjoy my good friend, Mr. Ricky Phillips of Styx.
Hey everybody, this is Ricky Phillips from the rock band Styx, and you are listening to Pat's Soundbites Unplugged Podcasts.
WBXO Classic Rock Redefined in conjunction with Pat's Soundbites Unplugged Podcast. I'm having a happy Friday today, having songwriter, backing vocalist, bass guitarist, and member of the amazing rock band Styx back on our phone today, Mr. Ricky Phillips. How are you, Ricky?
Hey Pat, great to be with you. I'm doing great, man. I'm doing awesome.
Excellent. Well, excited to have Styx and Ricky coming back to the New York area March 15th at the Beacon Theater, where they're going to be performing The Mission in its entirety, something you don't want to miss out. March 27th at the Resorts World Catskills Casino locally here in Monticello. They're in Atlantic City on the 20th. They're in Foxwoods in Connecticut on the 21st. They're in Waterloo, New York, up in the Finger Lakes on the 28th. Man, Ricky, in Louisiana tonight, Styx Road Warriors, as you guys are always on the road, my man, and so many great Styx songs. Let me ask you, is there a favorite Styx song you enjoy most performing? Like, I'm not a musician, but I know a lot of people, from what I hear, you know, like I look at the song like Fooling Yourself, and due to that song, which features so many number of time signature changes within it, I think, you know, maybe you would enjoy that more than the other songs. I don't know. What do I know, Ricky? I'm asking.
You know, it changes. It really does change. You know, before, years ago, I met Styx in 78 or 9 when I was in the Babies, and so I've known the guys a long time. I've always had this connection with Tommy Shaw, and when I was in Bad English, he was in Damn Yankees, so we had this sort of commonality. Now I've been in this band for almost 17 years, and it's just one of those crazy things where you learn this huge catalog of material, and every audience is different. They're really the fifth Beatle, I call them, the Styx show. They're very involved. People have never been to a Styx show. My brother came to this Styx show we did actually at the Beacon years back, and he said, "Who are all these New Yorkers that you know? What did you do? You know, did you pick your own crowd? What's going on?" Because he'd never seen anybody so involved with the band. And back to your question, I mean, it changes. "Fooling Yourself" used to be. I would always hands down say that was one of my favorite songs because I wish I'd written it. It's a Tommy Shaw penned tune that goes through odd time signatures, but it doesn't make you feel like you're sitting in a music theory class or something.
Right.
It's just so beautifully done. The melody, the message, everything is so uplifting. And I have to say, before I was in Styx, I remember they called them 2 for Tuesdays in Los Angeles, and so they would play 2 songs of a band, and they played Too Much Time in My Hands and Snowblind.
Oh, okay.
And when I heard Snowblind, it had just come out, and I thought, what a great song. So when we play that song, there's something about the vocal harmony, the melody, the blues sort of undertones that I'm a big fan of, and so that's always a fun one to play. But man, I could probably go on, and then I haven't stuck to one song at all. But I'll say Snowblind.
I love Snowblind. There is something special about that song. It just takes you to different places here and there, the way it picks up and it starts. And I mean, JY does just such a terrific job. I'm getting goosebumps just actually thinking about it.
JY owns that track, man. He just owns it.
Obviously, as you mentioned, man, 17 years. I mean, and this band loves to perform live, and we love you here in New York. There's nothing better than live music, the way I look at it. There's a great chemistry with this band. And from your standpoint, Ricky, what's the secret behind this longevity? I mean, you guys have so much fun. I see at the meet and greet, you're having a blast with the fans, and when you guys take the stage, everybody's off the seat. And at the end of the show, the confetti, and everybody just walks out. You know, you had just such a great time. Is there a secret with you guys?
You know, I've thought about it. If there is a secret, it would probably just be how JY and Tommy have, with kid gloves, chosen the people who have come in and out of this band. and making sure that it's a love affair of musicians and music, and we dig each other when we're off the road for 3 weeks or something, which is very rare. It's like we can't wait to get back to the team and have some fun and tear it up. It's a lot of laughs. Everybody in the band is a stand-up comic, and I mean, it's just, we really, really do, as we go down that in that submarine, the bus that we go down the highway in from town to town, city to city. Instead of that getting old and just laboring like it does to a lot of people who don't really like touring that much, bands that don't really hit the road that often. We hate to come off the road. We have so much fun, and I think it's infectious. It's the people feed off of that, and that might be one of the things my brother saw in the Beacon show years back. It just is. It's real, and that comes with chemistry between people, and it can't just stop at the music. It's got to go beyond. But let's hope that, and I always feel that a musician, the way they play and perform, that's their own style, and that comes as reflection of who they are. And we blend together as people, and then on stage as musicians, there's some crazy, cool stuff that happens. It's a little bit different every night. Todd Zuckerman and I met, and that's a special relationship, the drummer and bass player. We met doing sessions in Los Angeles before I was in Styx. And Tommy and I and JY, we've known each other since at least '79. I didn't know Lawrence Gowan until joining the band, but I see how amazing he is within the band. And before I was in the band, the Foreigner invited me to a gig they were doing, and it was with Styx. And I walked in, and Styx had already started playing, and Lawrence blew my mind. I was like, where did they find this guy? I had no idea about his career in Canada and how many hits he has on his own. But that's kind of the story behind who we are, what Styx has maintained, and very, very carefully just tried to stay really on the top of their game at all times. It's very important. We sit in a circle. We don't sit. We stand in a circle, face to face, nose to nose, and we sing for 20 minutes every night before we go out on stage. Like, Tiger Woods doesn't just run, with his golf clubs to the first tee. I mean, he's there warming up, working on everything, and we do that. We all have our own little drill and things we play to warm up, and then we sing together. And so we're already on 10 by the time we hit the stage for the first note. And that's how much and how important it is what we do, and I think people feed off of that.
Absolutely, and thank you for sharing that. And I watched Lawrence on Instagram, and I said to him, you thank you. I haven't been all over the country, and he just got every city he's out there, and he's videotaping, and love watching Todd, at the shows, and he's videotaping how he's performing, and obviously Tommy and JY. I mean, it's just, there is something, a great magic that happens and a great chemistry, and I appreciate you sharing and sharing to the fans that pay a lot of money these tickets that you guys are the real deal, and you really give a crap of the performance that you guys have been doing for so
that's a great point in itself. I mean, it really has gotten to do the shows and stay on the road. Unfortunately, the prices have come up because it costs so much more than it used to tour. So yeah, we do care about that. We do expect to give everything we've got every night, and that's what we do.
Well, usually that certainly comes across for every Styx show that I've been attending since, like you said, late 70s, and it's been nonstop for as many shows as I can go to see you guys. So many questions here. Well, let me just get right to it. I know Tommy revealed a few weeks ago in an interview that Styx is looking like releasing a new album, and I applaud you. The mission was fantastic, and I love every bit of it. And can you share, I know he's talking about logistically him and Lawrence and Will trying to get down to Nashville and with the tours and time off. Can you share with the fans what's going on, when we can expect something? As a guy that can play new music and create my own playlist, I can't wait to keep playing new music, and certainly new Styx music.
It's definitely it's something that's evolved. The music has all those elements, the vocals, the nice melodic harmonies, and the soloists the voices are definitely written around and for. But the band has grown, from what I've seen anyway. Always have been good songwriters. I mean, if you go back to the very first beginnings of Styx, before Tommy was even there are some pieces of music that I'm going, where did they come up with that? And so there's always been sort of a gift in the songwriting, and so it's now gotten to a place of, I'm just blown away by what the guys come up with. I feel like I'm a good songwriter. I'm a producer in my own right. But what these guys do, and it's shockingly good. It's not, they don't shoot over the heads of people. They kind of get right inside your soul and go to a place and then make that beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It's like they understand how to hit those points that are inside of us that make us go, ooh, I like that. And that's hard to do, but they just seem to do it time and time again. And working with them and having gotten into that mindset myself, you've got 5 guys just absolutely just gelling, and the stuff that comes out, I'm really excited for you to hear some of the new stuff. It's just, it's very cool. I love the mission. I thought it was a very classy, well done extension of an incredible catalog that did come before it. And it was really tough, I think, and that's why it took so long. It took 14 years to do another record, is because I think Tommy had expressed to me several times, we can't, I can't use the word, we can't F this up.
Right.
It's got to be right. It's got to be an extension of greatness. And now we're going back in the water because I think we're back in it. We're confident, and we know when we've seen the mistakes made by our brothers and other bands who have come out and maybe forgotten who they were, and we're trying to stay in keeping with exactly who we are, and let that be a muse rather than a hindrance and a crippling thing that could maybe hold you back and be afraid. We're letting that just take us where we got to go, and it's I'm very excited about this new record. The music is tremendous.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to, when you walk in here and you go, okay, guys, what's on the plate? And they, like you said, your eyes pop out going, really? And even today's music world and the radio business and what's not selling and what's selling, you guys you're musicians, and that's what you do, is create new music. So I applaud you, and I'm just blessed to be able to play new music as much as I can. That's the theme of my radio show, keeping new music alive on the radio airways. And speaking of music, I mean, the last time we talked was you and Eric Singer were getting ready to release the kind of tribute to Ronnie Montrose, 10 by 10. And oh my goodness, Ricky, I haven't spoken to you since, but I think I played Colorblind. I played Love is an Art. For the fans that don't know, a great album that Ricky and Eric put out. Lots of wonderful rock stars on it. Edgar Winter, Rick Derringer, Sammy Hagar, even Tommy and Lawrence and Todd, and even our golf buddy from Foreigner, Mr. Tom Gimbel. I mean,
That's right.
Besides honoring Ronnie's legacy, let me just ask, from the release of it, it's called 10 by 10. I mean, obviously, it's very special to you and Eric to get that all out there after the passing of Ronnie.
We loved Ronnie, and when he passed and we had these songs in the can, he just straight out, Eric says, can you do this? Do you have the time to do this? Do you have the desire? You're the only guy that can finish this. And it was an undertaking, but I gathered up all the files and the various places. We recorded everything on tape, on vinyl. I mean, this was 4 vinyls, what I meant to say.
Right.
On 2-inch tape in the studio. And then we had to marry it to digital, but digital had progressed by this point and actually was accepting what we'd recorded on tape very, very nicely. And slowly, little by little, I was able to bring in singers and players. I called up Edgar Winter and I said, hey, listen, my natural inclination is to call Rick Derringer and have him play the solo that Ronnie didn't get to. Let me put 93% of the guitars, everything on this record is Ronnie Montrose. It's the last recording. It's just not a tribute. It's actually Ronnie Montrose.
Right.
But what Ronnie did not get to were the solos.
Gotcha.
In most of the songs. There are some pieces of solos that Ronnie's there on. So I said that to Edgar, and Edgar said, I think Rick Derringer is a perfect choice. He'd be great. He knows Ronnie. He loved Ronnie. He produced us in our first album when Ronnie was in the Edgar Winter group. And so we've got that. Sammy Hagar and Steve Lukather had never worked together, so I asked Sam, I said, what do you think of Steve Lukather? And he said, oh my gosh, I've never worked with him. I love him. Can you get a hold of him? I said, absolutely, been friends forever. And this was but that had to have a connection to Ronnie and Joe Bonamassa. When I took him into the studio in Austin, Texas, where I live, on the way to the studio, I said, what's your story? And he said, when I was a young player, I got a call from a guy. I said, hello, and he said, hey, it's Ronnie Montrose, and I just listened to your new record. It's awesome, kid. We need more like you. Keep doing what you're doing. But that was Ronnie. Everybody loved Ronnie, and he loved music, and he loved people. But I'd love to say one thing, because I know we're getting to the end of this. You were mentioning our buddy Tom Gimbel, and he plays some amazing sax. I knew he would be perfect for this track.
Absolutely.
That is Greg Raleigh, who was in Santana, who sang Black Magic Woman, all that, and then ended up with Neil Schon. They started Journey. And so Greg sings this track, and it's just a sexy track. I had no place I could figure out how to put it, so I put it at the end of the album. And a lot of times, the weakest song gets stuck at the back of the record.
Right. And
I said, I'm really having trouble. I talked to Tommy Shaw. I've synchronized the record. I'm really having trouble. Where do I put this song? I'm not lying. And he goes, well, you know what? What can follow it? It has to go at the end. And it's such a beautiful, wonderful track. I actually play the guitars and the harmony solos, sort of the Brian May thing at the end. I play certain other incidental things in it, but you've got Lawrence Gowan plays some beautiful piano at the very end of it, but Greg Raleigh plays it's more like synths and some organ stuff at the top. And Ronnie's textured guitar playing through this is just absolutely impeccable. Cool track.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got our good friend Jeff Scott Soto. I just was with Jeff with the Sons of Apollo, and I mentioned that to him, and he said he had a blast doing that.
Jeff's my secret weapon. I love having the ladies on the record. But what I really liked was, because Ronnie and I really liked Humble Pie and Steve Marriott and stuff, and how he would sing with the ladies, and how that cool, soulful rock harmony coming out of the soul side of music would add to the music. So I've got that going on, but my secret weapon is to bring Jeff Scott Soto in with his big male voice in with the ladies, and it's just something else. And I've done that on a few records with Jeff, and what a great singer he is.
Oh my goodness, yeah, he lets it go, and he's such a super and cool guy. Well, I know we're way out of time, and I know we already plugged our golfing friend, Mr. Tom Gimbel. Every time I see Foreigner, I go, come on, Ricky says I can kick your ass, let's go, and they all just start laughing. But Ricky, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the chat as much as I have. And
absolutely.
I got so many questions, but we'll get you next time. Again, Ricky and Styx, March 15th at the Beacon Theater, March 27th, closer here at the Resorts in Monticello, Atlantic City on the 20th, Foxwoods the 21st. Go to StyxWorld.com for all the dates. Keep supporting these guys. I can't wait for the new album to come out. Safe travels, my man.
Safe travels to you. Thank you, Pat. I'll always love talking to you. This has been a blast. And hate everybody out there. We'll see you very soon.
Excellent. It doesn't get any better than this. Ricky Phillips on WBXO. We are classic rock, and we're redefined.